You guys just you keep coming around. I just keep hearing about you guys.
And I might need to tell Ryan to cut that up a little bit and just put it in my audio for my phone.
First of all, I love the game. I had a passion to play the game, not only football, but I love the game of golf. And what it lends to a person and the friendships you develop on the golf course.
It's been a pleasure being on the drop. I wish you guys all the best down the road.
As someone like you have that golf itch like a lot of us do.
I keep track of you, and you are moving. You are on the move.
So listen, I'm a big New Jersey golf guy. You're very kind, Mike, and you too, Ryan. It's a pleasure to be on just a couple of Jersey boys here talking about something we love. All the best. I really enjoyed it.
This is the Drop Podcast where we talk golfing in the Garden State. I'm Mike Poro, and this is Ryan Coulott.
What's up, Drop Pod people? Welcome back to Interview Thursday. Mike and I have a very special guest. We have Craig Smith, head golf pro at Morris County Golf Club. It's a big interview because the MidAm is coming there next week. This is coming out to you on Thursday, the 29th. That tournament starts Tuesday, the 3rd, if I'm not mistaken, Mike. So next Tuesday's episode we'll have a large section about that. We'll kind of break that down. But we're starting it off here with Craig, and he's talking about the course, talking about what you need to hit, kind of gives us for two guys who haven't been there, kind of gives us a good visual on the property. So it was an informational and educational interview for sure.
Yeah, listen, anytime that, we can get a guy like Craig on to talk and preview his golf course, what the setup will be like, what the holes are going to be like, are they going to stretch some out, pin locations, the whole nine. It just gives players another resource to listen to. It gives the caddies more information in case they're trying to prepare their player. And that's the whole idea here. So Craig does an unbelievable job of giving us the nuts and bolts, the ins and outs of Morris County Golf Club.
Yeah, sure does. So without further ado, we're going to send you to that interview with Craig Smith. Enjoy.
This episode is brought to you by Gimme Cocktails. Golf season is back, and so is your go-to drink for the golf course. Gimme Cocktails is a golf-inspired canned cocktail made with premium vodka, real juice, and a splash of fizz. Choose from lemonade iced tea or pineapple, and stay tuned. A brand new flavor is dropping soon. Crisp, refreshing, and it packs a 7% punch. You can find Gimme Cocktails at Total Wine, Circus Liquors, Huddy's and Colts Neck, and select golf courses across New Jersey. It's a Jersey-based company, so drink local. The perfect drink to tee up your round or toast to a great one after. Follow at gimme_cocktails on Instagram or visit gimmecocktails.com. Gimme Cocktails. Pick it up. All right, so joining us today is Craig Smith, head golf professional at the historic Morris County Golf Club and the host site for the 2025 New Jersey MidAm Championship. Craig, thank you so much for coming on today's show.
No, my pleasure. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, Craig, nice to meet you. And we had to do this virtually because it was the weather for us, but still looking forward to getting up there and seeing the course. I hear a lot of great things about it, and looking forward to getting into it today.
Great, me too.
So Craig, let's kind of get started here a little bit about you and your background, how you got into this crazy game that we all love to kind of where you're sitting today. What has that journey been like for someone like you?
Oh man, no, I mean, I'm a Jersey guy through and through. Been a lover of the game since a young child. Growing up here, my family moved to Chatham, New Jersey, which is not too far from where I'm sitting right now here at Morris County. When I was in third grade from Michigan, my father worked in the music industry, so we bounced around a lot as kids, and then finally, he spent the last number of years of his career working in New York City. So we made Chatham home. And that's kind of where, my love affair for golf began. I grew up actually till I guess I was 18. My father joined Fairmont Country Club in Chatham, and that's where I grew up playing. But before that, my mom would drop me off at Pinchbrook in Florham Park every day, and I'd, play with three random people, as a single. And that's kind of where I spent most of my childhood there. And then, once my dad joined over at Fairmont, that's where, I played basically, through college, and then obviously turned professional after college. But played high school golf at Chatham High School. Was very lucky. We had a great team when I was there. Some, lifelong friends I made at Chatham High School. And one of them, which actually later down the road, and I graduated high school in 2000. I went on to play college golf at Seton Hall. So played there, was captain my senior year. And then in the summers would play, all the amateur golf and junior golf. I played the New Jersey PGA Junior Tour as a kid. So, I've been around pretty much every association or different group of New Jersey golf pretty much since I was a young kid. So, there's few more passionate than me about, the event that we're hosting here in a couple weeks, and just so excited. But then after college, I decided to turn pro. I went down to Florida, and I got a job working outside ops at Bear Lakes Country Club in West Palm Beach. And I played the mini tours for a couple of years, and worked part-time there so I could have a place to play and practice. And I guess I did that for 2 years, and then I came back up here. I played the New England tour for a summer, had a little bit of success, but I learned pretty quickly that, everybody on those tours are really good. And obviously I was confident about my own game, but at the same time, I realized that, I probably should start thinking about a second avenue. And then when I was returning back to Bear Lakes, I believe it was in the spring. We're going back a long ways here. So it was in the spring of 2006, I believe, or actually in the fall of 2006. They had a little bit of a change in the operation, and there was an opportunity for me to become an assistant golf professional at Bear Lakes. And I said yes. And then honestly, I never looked back. I spent another, I guess, 3 seasons there as an assistant. That's where, I kind of really learned most of everything that I know. It was a great place, great people. Worked for two great bosses, Toby Hill and Ted Strelick, that really helped me to develop my career as a young professional. And then I always knew in the back of my mind I wanted to come back to New Jersey as a PGA professional. And that opportunity came up in 2008. I was able to become the first assistant professional at Trump National Bedminster, working for Mickey Gallagher. Mickey's like a dad to me, one of my best friends. And, to have the opportunity to work there, I was there for 6 years as the first assistant, and it was an incredible experience. I loved working there. The members were phenomenal. It's a great facility, and I just, thank each day for my time there, because it was really great. And again, it just further helped to develop my career. And then I spent a season or 1 year at Somerset Hills. And then after that, I came here to Morris County as an assistant in, I believe it was 2014. Yes, because this is my 10th year here at Morris County, so that would make sense. So I was here, and then I guess 3 years after being the first assistant, that was 6 years ago now, I became the head golf professional and been here ever since, and couldn't feel more privileged and honored to be the head professional here at Morris County Golf Club. I mean, I always say this all the time, but it's kind of like a home game for me. I grew up literally 10 minutes down the road. My wife grew up 10 minutes down the road. So, to be able to, be at home where we're from, and then also be, the head professional at such a storied club is really a dream come true. So again, grew up in New Jersey, played New Jersey amateur golf, high school golf, junior golf, and then obviously played college golf at Seton Hall University, and then, been in the New Jersey PGA, ever since. So it's really great.
Greg, where you been?
Born and bred. Born and bred here in New Jersey.
Why is it taking you 3 years to get onto this podcast?
I don't know.
There's no more Jersey guy than that.
Fly under the radar. I guess that's a good thing. But yeah. No, I've been fortunate. I do have a state golf association. Well, now New Jersey Golf title under my belt. I won the 2004 state 4-ball with literally one of my best friends, Brad Mills. So, to be able to be on the other side of having, playing in a lot of these events. I never got to play in a MidAm, but played in many state amateurs, obviously state opens and all that stuff. So I'm just so excited for the upcoming MidAm.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I will say this. One of the things I love your logo. I think your logo at Morris County is one of the sharpest ones going around because everybody has their little thing or that or this. But every time I look at that, I'm like, that just hits. And there's certain things for my eyes from an optic standpoint that just works. Your logo hits. I kind of dig that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, it's a great logo. It's funny. A lot of the members, and we don't really know exactly where it came from. And it's funny. I'll be on a plane or anywhere, and people always ask me like, "Oh man, are you from Boston?" And I say, "No, it's a golf course in New Jersey." And they're like, "Can you send me a hat? Here's my card." I get that all the time. We were very fortunate to have such a incredible logo. It's really neat. It's sharp. It looks great on everything, and it's very sought after.
Yeah.
What's like on like a daily basis for someone like you? One of the questions that we always get from different people is your job is so busy from an operational standpoint that playing sometimes falls by the wayside. The idea of practicing, the idea of doing things. What's a normal day for someone like you at a place like Morris County in terms of not only handling the operations but also the playing aspect as well?
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, obviously my job comes first, but I'm also, I love to compete. I've been lucky to have a lot of success playing through the years, playing in a number of PGA national championships and assistant national championships. But it's hard. Each day is different. I say the golf business is you wear many hats in this industry, and someday it could be running an event. Some days it could be giving a handful of lessons. I don't get to teach as much as I used to. Running the operation now, but it could be a day we have an outing. There's obviously a lot that goes into running my golf shop as well. And then obviously just doing whatever we can to service our members. I mean, that's really what we're there for. And that's what I love most about the job is getting to know my members, playing golf with them. Obviously, like I always say every year, I want to play more golf. I seem to get better and better each year by playing as much as possible, but it is hard to keep your game sharp. I will say that, but I will never say no to a round of golf. It's why I became a golf professional. For myself, I mean, I started, because I loved golf. I loved to play golf. And then I was able to use that to build a career out of. And how lucky am I? I mean, honestly, that's exactly what brought me to where I am now. So I want to continue to, I'm always trying to get better. Sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't, but that's a goal of mine. And, I love the game, and I will always do what I can to try to play as much as possible. Obviously easier said than done. But I certainly try.
Isn't that the old joke of like get into the golf business and you'll never play golf again, kind of?
Yeah, no, it's funny. People are always like, "Oh, you stare at that golf course every day." I'm like, I do. I don't get to play it that much, but I do try to play as much as possible. But yeah, no, that is a very true statement, Ryan.
uh, I want to go back to you. You were mentioning the membership, and what's the membership like there? Is it a large? What's the amount? Like, is it a lot? Is it a big golfing? Are they more social? Give us those demographics?
Yeah, our membership is incredible. They really are. We have such a vast membership. We have, and a backtrack a step. I mean, this club's really changed a lot. I mean, obviously, like most golf clubs, probably in the entire country during COVID, we were a fairly quiet club when I started here. We were doing 13,000 rounds, and I think last year we did 24,000. So the club is a very, very active golfing membership. This club loves their golf, and that's why I love to be here. We love, we embrace a lot of our history and tradition. I think I told you guys we just came off of our 100th member guest, which is called the Weekend of Golf. That wrapped up just a couple days ago, and there's not many golf clubs I think anywhere that can say that they've had their member guests for 100 years. So it's really neat. And this membership is neat as well because we also have some different classifications. We have a very active junior program that's your 36 and under. We have close to 100 of them that are members, and they love to play as well. So we have a mix across the board. We have a super active ladies program. I'm biased, but I think it's the best ladies program anywhere. We have a very active group of 18 holers, 9 holers that play quite a bit. We also have a 1 holer group that introduces golfers to the game, which has been a great success here. And we also have a great youth program. Our junior golfers are great. That's been in play here for many, many years, where in the summertime, our kids have an opportunity to play the golf course in the afternoon, and they can earn their right through graduating through that program in order to play the golf course by themselves. So you can go through that during our program, and then also you can do it with mom and dad. So it kind of encourages our kids to, hey, mom, dad, let's go play a couple holes. I need to put another score in so I can become, eligible to play the golf course by myself. So it's a lot of fun. I mean, it really develops pretty much anywhere from young kids to adults as well. We just have the passion for golf at Morris County Golf Club is strong as ever, and we're also lucky to have great facilities as well. I would say we're from a dining perspective, I joke all the time, but it's actually not a joke. The best restaurant in Morristown, New Jersey is Morris County Golf Club. So we have incredible food. The golf course conditions are second to none. Our superintendent, Nick Levere, is first class and has this place completely dialed in all the time, and he's great. Our general manager, Dan Brummage, is I think the best leader in our business, and it's just a great place. So we're kind of firing all cylinders here right now. Our pool area is incredible. We got a full restaurant up there in the summer that's super busy. Tennis is always going. We have a huge paddle program. Our paddle and tennis pro, Martin Bostrom, came to us from Plainfield. This is his second year. He's doing an unbelievable job, with all kinds of new programs. I think there's always tennis clinics going on and paddle clinics and different stuff. So it's an active club. From when I started here, 10 years ago to what it is now, it is really completely different. And it's really cool to see, I have to say. It really is.
George Wall Ford in Red Bank, New Jersey is family owned and operated, proudly serving New Jersey residents with superior customer service since 1960. Rye, share your story about your experience there.
Mike, I went on a tangent in one of our episodes previously about it, but I can't say enough good things about George Wall Ford. I needed a new car. I had an old. I loved the brand that I had. I loved, it was an SUV, but had 165,000 miles on it. It was just time, So I hopped on over to George Wall Ford. I saw our guy Jerry, and Jerry and his team were awesome. I mean, from stem to stern, they're there, they're helping, they're knowledgeable. They have so many cars on the lot that you can go in and say, hey, I want a sunroof, a navigation. I want this kind of rims on it. I want this kind of this, that, and the other thing. There's a great chance that they have that car with all your specs, the color, all that thing. Me, I didn't particularly care. I just, I was like, hey, I want to be high up in the car, right? I need an SUV. I'm a big guy. I got a dog. I got golf clubs. I got beach chairs in the summer. I need something that's a little more rugged, a little more, again, I like to be higher in my car. And I went and saw Jerry. He pointed me in the right direction. And again, it's awesome to have that kind of help and support from your salesman to the finance guy to even they got somebody who helps you set up your car, right? I got an app on my phone now that's got my auto start on it. I can locate my car if I don't know where it is. I could take a trip to Japan if I wanted to and be like, did I lock my car? And I can go into the app and lock my car. So even people helping you set up that stuff, just the hands-on approach over there is incredible. So if you need a car, head on over to George Wall. And go ask for Jerry. They were awesome there. Again, stem to stern from everybody. I can't say enough good things about it. It was an unbelievable experience.
So to Ryan's point, there isn't a better place to shop for a brand new car. Just call 732-704-1932 and ask for Jeremy Wall. George Wall Ford in Red Bank for all your car buying needs.
I found it super interesting that the women's part of this is as big as it is, because in doing research, I found out that the club was created by a group of women, which I
Yes.
think is an abnormal, not abnormal, but there's how many clubs in the country can say that they were started by a group of women?
I don't think any.
Yeah,
I think we're the first, yeah, it's quite incredible that when the club was founded in the late 1800s, it was founded by women. It's quite incredible, and certainly something that we embrace here at the club in our history. We actually have an event here next Wednesday. That is, we call it Founders Day, and it's a celebration of our founding lady members that started the club, and we celebrate that each year. So it's really really a neat history piece on Morris County Golf Club. We had a U.S. amateur and a U.S. women's amateur in the late 1800s. So I mean, to be able to say that is really neat.
You got to do me a favor and elaborate on this one hole initiative.
Yeah.
Or I mean, I feel like Ryan and I have heard a lot of different things at a lot of different clubs. This is the first time I'm hearing about a one hole getting someone into the game of golf. Explain that further to me.
Yeah, so it's something that I wanted to get started years ago, and it's basically just an introduction to golf. We start with a clinic. One of our assistant professionals, Emmett Waldron, runs it. He does a phenomenal job with it. So basically, what we try to do is, you see quite often, especially in ladies golf programs, there's a little bit of nervous energy getting involved, right? But I always say here at Morris County, our group of lady golfers are so inviting, and it's this program basically is we do a little bit of instruction. We do it on Thursdays, so that's when our 9-holer group plays Thursday mornings. So the 1-holers are basically have a clinic, and then they go out and play one hole, and then we try to time it to when they finish. Our 9-holers are coming off the golf course, and then they can join everybody for lunch. So it's a way to kind of have them a part of the program without, without having to be, thrown right into it right away. Give them kind of an introduction, learn the game, and then be able to be social with everybody after their clinic and playing their one hole. And then what we're seeing now, as we've had this going on for a few years, is 1-holers then make the jump to 9-holers that next year. And then all of a sudden, a few years down the road, the goal is then for them to become 18-holers. And then hopefully one day we'll have a ladies club champion out of the program. So it's really, really neat. And it's really, I saw, especially during COVID, there were so many new people that came into the game. We needed to do what we can to try to get them to, stay in the game and then obviously progress in the game as well.
Dude, that's great. That's incredible. You
Yeah.
don't talk about growing the game, right? I mean, like we've heard so many ideas, like you grow the game, we want to do this, but like that. And Ryan, you said this a lot. You've always said like the women are the untapped, resource to really make this game explode even more than it already is. Like
No question.
that's a great initiative that I think all private clubs should take on, because to your point, Craig, it is a lot of nervous energy, like not really comfortable, don't know what to do. I'm not going to do it. But if you just give them a little bit,
Yeah.
and then they can still enjoy the social aspect as well. Yeah, I think that's
That's what it's
phenomenal.
about. Yeah, no, you see it a lot, like, just some uncertainty about what do I do when I come to the club? When I pull in that parking lot, what's the next step? And, that's what we're here to try to help ease that and make it feel more comfortable. And if that group feels more comfortable, guess what? They're going to come to the club more often. And that's what we want. So, that's really the goal of the program. And then if we see them progressing into the 9 and 18-holer program, that's a win for everybody. So it's really been a home run here at the club.
And one of the things you mentioned also with that, the kids, they got to graduate in order to get on the course by themselves.
Yeah, so we have a program here. It's called Play Days. So I don't know exactly when it was started. It was many, many years ago before my time. And basically during the week in the summertime, kids come to the golf course in the afternoon. We have, your typical camp program in the morning, like every club, which is always a lot of fun. And then in the afternoons, the kids start off as 3-holers. And then as they work up, they go from 3 to 6 to senior 6, and then 9 and 18. And basically, when you reach the senior 6 level, that gives you the opportunity to play the golf course by yourself. So in order to pass a level, we give them a target score, and they have to shoot it 5 times. And once they shoot that number 5 times, they can move up a level. And the cool thing is you can do 3 of those 5 with mom or dad, or a brother or sister, whatever it might be. So it encourages kids to get out outside of the play days, because hey, I got to go out and try to break the score. Come with me, mom. Come with me, dad. Let's go out on the golf course. And you see that a lot during the summer, especially on the weekends. Late in the day. Let me go see if I can put a 3-hole score posted. And that gives them, again, the opportunity as they graduate from each level, that will give them the ability to play the golf course by themselves. And that's really the main goal. So it's a lot of fun.
I'll tell you, you guys are doing getting into golf right down there between the kids and the women. That's a great. Those are 2 incredible initiatives.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. We we have a super passionate group of young golfers, and we want to do whatever we can to try to cultivate that for many, many years to come.
Yeah. Well, you guys are doing it, but as we transition here a little bit to the golf tournament that's coming up, and I know that we spoke to Brian Kroll Pfeiffer at North Jersey and how excited they were about hosting the 4-Bowl Championship. I can only imagine the same is for you guys there at Morris County. Give us a little bit about the golf course specifically. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get there to see it in person, but tell us a little bit about the golf course before we kind of dive deep into it.
So let me lead off with it's a tremendous match play golf course. So I'm very excited for the MidAm just from that perspective, because anything can happen out there in regard to, in a match. And then also at the same breath, we have the State Open next year. So that's going to be a lot of fun as well in 2026. But the golf course is a Seth Rayner CB McDonald design. And over the last 4 years or so, we've seen a pretty major restoration project taking place. We've basically chipped away at a number of different things. And we did the bulk of the restoration in the fall of last year. We renovated a couple greens, actually 3 greens in total. We did a massive fairway expansion. We added in a couple fairway bunkers, changed some of the sight lines with some tree removal, and some of the scale as well. But it's a tremendous layout. It's got some blind shots, undulated fairways, everything you could want in a golf course that doesn't have a lot of length. People look at the car and they go, "Oh, 6,500, that's nothing." But talk to me when you're finished, because it doesn't play to that number. I think a golf course plays longer than it actually reads, and it really is a true test. It's a placement golf course. You also have to play to. I'm trying to think of the right verbiage, but play to the right angles. A lot of this golf course tempts you to do something you shouldn't, because it will leave you with a shot that you either can't stop on the green or it's a bad angle. So you really have to make sure that you're placing the ball where you need to come into some of the green complexes out there.
And isn't that, the Seth Rayner CB McDonald way? That's like the,
No question. No question. And it's great. It's a mix of long and short. I always joke there really isn't any in between out there. The golf course starts with the first 6 holes that, are fairly short. You start off with a short par 4, a very reachable par 5. Our third hole is our short par 3, which is a Rayner McDonald template. It's a wedge par 3. It's, from the back tee, it's only about 135 yards. But again, if you miss the green there, you're making 4 or 5 at best. But if you hit the green, you're going to have an opportunity to walk out of there with a 2. And, 4s are prototypical double plateau, great hole. One of my favorite greens on the entire golf course. And 5 is another great short par 4 that we just did a massive expansion to the front left side of the green, expanded the fairway. And then our 6 hole is phenomenal. It's got a brand new green, a complete redesign. The club hired Jaeger Kovic is our architect, and he shaped a work of art. I mean, it is amazing. The green was very small. It's still very small, a little bigger. But now, I'm sure you guys have heard this from a lot of classic golf clubs out there. We were just running out of hole locations. I think a lot of these greens weren't designed originally to have greens that stimped, 12 to 13 to 14 on a daily basis. And that's what we kind of ran into. So now we've got, the couple holes that we did work on, especially on the greens. Now we've got a myriad of different hole locations, and they're just absolutely spectacular. So that 6th green is much improved, and we couldn't be happier here at the club how it turned out. And so again, those first 6 holes are short. There's many times I always joke. I tell this story quite often. You get through 6, and for your scratcher plus players, you might be a couple under par, feeling pretty good about yourself. And then when you get to 7, you continue on through the round. Then all of a sudden you're standing on 14T, and you're like, I'm even or 1 over. I'm like, what just happened? It just kind of hits you quick. Once you continue on, 7, 8, 9, 10 are monster par 4s, really good holes. And then, the rest of the back 9 just doesn't stop. So it's a very, very difficult test of golf. That's for sure.
Yeah, and just to kind of like educate the audience too, like, the mid-am and the way it's going to be done is identical to the 4 ball. It's a stroke play first round. It's top 16 players will move on to match play the following day. And then from there, you're seeded 1 through 16. And then you're just going to play 4 rounds if you make it that far through Tuesday and then into Wednesday. Because I think that's one of the things, people always wonder, like, where'd you finish or what you shoot? But I think to your point, and that was something that North Jersey also enjoyed, was that it's a great match play venue. And anytime when I'm looking at the scorecard and I'm going through things, to your point, you look at it like, man, these first 6 holes are gettable, and you could potentially see some low numbers through the first 6. But then when you talk about 7, 8, 9, and 10 all being 450 plus at par 4s, it's kind of like, okay, now I need to buckle up a little bit. So from a participant or someone caddying in the tournament, I'm assuming that your recommendation to someone's like, hey, listen, you got to get off to a good start. Otherwise, you're now going to be, in potentially some trouble.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't agree more. That's you nailed it. I mean, you really do have to get off to a good start. It's very, very hard to, make those late birdies coming in on this golf course. The back 9 is extremely difficult. It features 3 par 3s, which is a little bit different. We are a par 70. So we've got 2 par 5s, number 2 and 11. And actually, the 11th hole, we did some pretty massive fairway expansion. That was almost 2 years ago now. It's in its 2nd season of having the fairway expansion. And then we just put in a lion's mouth bunker in the layup area. So,
I love that. Yeah.
Which is really cool. So it drastically changed. The layup used to be you could kind of just hit it. So now there's a little bit of strategy involved. The bunker sits about 70 yards from the middle of the green. So even if you're going at it in 2 and you kind of catch a little thin and it doesn't get up in the air that much, because the hole does play about 5 or 6 yards uphill, even though it really doesn't look it. But if you use a slope rangefinder from the layup zone to the green is about 5 yards up. That could even catch those bunkers. And then the green is one of our bigger greens on the golf course. And again, just as spectacular. It's really hard. Big false front that makes it hard to go at with a wedge, because if you have a little too much spin on it, it's coming back off the front. And then the whole backside of the green, it's got a very big hump in the middle. And once it goes over that middle ridge, it runs completely off in the back. But we have a couple back hole locations that are really fun. So if you're attacking that back hole location, if you land it in the back of the green, it's going over. But if you land in the middle and use the slope, it's going to chase right down to it. So it's a lot of fun green because it's a very reachable par 5, but it's a difficult green to come into. And if you can hold that green going for it in 2, it's an accomplishment, that's for sure.
The winner of this of the mid-am here, what are they gonna do special at the course in order to be the winner? Do they putt really well? Do they find every fairway? What's the key to attacking?
I think it's going to be a combination of a couple things. I think you got to, it's definitely not a bomber's paradise. There's no question about that. I think you're going to have to drive the ball very well. The fairways are tight. There's not, there's many holes where the fairway is maybe no more than about 12 to 15 paces wide in the driving zone. So I think driving the golf ball is going to be very important. But I think, like most golf courses in this area that we are lucky to play our golf in, putting is going to be the main difference. This golf course the greens are tough. There's not many putts that you stand over and go, I'm going to pour this in. It moves one ball left to right. I mean, there's a lot of movement in the greens, and then also leaving yourself, in the right spots, not being above the hole where you don't need to be, being able to control it as best you can. But I think, driving and putting are going to be certainly the two most important. I mean, I really, the more I think about it, I think it's the entire package. I mean, you have to be precise with your approach shots. There's many spots that you can be in that, I don't care if you have the best short game in the world, you have a very high level of difficulty up and down. So if you can control that, leave yourself in the right spot. I mean, there is opportunity to score. And, I think it's going to be somebody that really that has the complete package going on, from driving to approach shots to short game and putting. I think it'll be the whole thing.
So, Craig, I think one of the things I think is interesting in a match play situation is coming down the stretch. Like, I could be 1 or 2 down, and I'm looking at the scorecard, like, where am I going to pick one up? Where some players may need to take more of an aggressive line, like, hey, listen, I may need to carry this spot, or I may need to attack here in certain spots. Do you see a like make it or break it shot coming down the stretch on maybe one of the holes more so than others?
100%. Yeah, our 13th hole, I think, is going to be a big turning point in matches. I've always felt, especially, I played a lot of match play in my life, different events, and our 13th hole, I feel like standing on that tee, if you can make 3, you're probably going to win the hole. So if you can make par, I think you're probably going to win the hole. And if you make 2, you're definitely going to win the hole, because I would be shocked if we see, 2 twos in a match on 13. I would go and shake their hands for sure. It's a reverse Redan green that it slopes very severe from left to right and from also back, from front to back as well. And then obviously not sure exactly what tee that the association is going to use for the event, but it can play if the whole location is all the way in the back and they tip it out completely. It can be, anywhere from, 205 to 215 ish from a distance standpoint. So it's a very difficult green to hit. And it's also a very difficult green to make 3 if you miss the green. You can't miss it left. You won't be able to keep it on the green. If you hit it in the left bunkers, the ball's going to run right off. And if our greens are quick right now, I'm sure they're going to be even faster in a couple weeks. So I think that could be a big turning point in any match. Standing on the tee knowing, hey, if I'm, let's say I'm 2 down in my match and I can walk out of there, make pars, grab a hole back. Because 14 is extremely difficult as well. And that's a hole where the longer hitters are going to be able to cut it off a little bit. It is a dog leg from left to right. The longer hitters can take it over. We have some trees at the corner. It's a soft dog leg. It's not a 90 degree, but you can take it over those trees. And again, it's one of those highly difficult greens that will, in a way, again, if you miss the green, difficult up and down. But it's another hole where I feel like if you make par, you're going to have a good chance to win the hole. And you're going to see that a lot on the back 9. 15 is another difficult par 3. It can play, 220 or so, depending on where the whole location is from the back tees. And it does have a little bit of an area you can run and chase the ball up on the green. So I think it plays easier than 15, or than 13, excuse me. But it's another hole, like, again, standing on the tee, if I make 3, I'm going to have a really good chance. It's a tough shot. And 16 is a bear, absolute bear. Very, very, very difficult green. It's a Gibraltar is the name of the hole. So it has a dome-shaped green that is hard to hit approach shots into. It has a huge false front. So anything that comes up about 20 feet short of probably where the hole location is going to be will go right off the front, and you're going to have a super hard up and down. But again, I think the longer hitters will probably have a little bit of an advantage on 16 because they can get it down far enough to where, they're going to have a short iron in their hand. I mean, the hole is 435. So, some of the longer hitters can get it down there pretty far. But, somebody like myself, I probably only hit driver 265. A lot of times I've got a 6 iron into that green from the back tees, and that is not easy to try to keep it on there. So again, that is going to go a long way. 17 is another great hole. That's one of our greens that it's our Eden, which is a CB McDonald Seth Rayner template green. We just did that was one of the greens that got a full renovation. So now the green is a massive green, and now we have 4 distinct quadrants, and we picked up, I mean, I can't even begin to tell you how many new hole locations. We now have front right, which we never had before. We've got back right. It goes up onto a ledge, kind of like the 8th hole at St. Andrews they're Eden. So now we've got that back right championship hole location, which is so good. And we have back left, multiple hole locations in the middle, and there's a huge spine that runs through the middle of the green. So if you hit to the quadrant off the tee, you're going to have a very good look at birdie. I think you'll have a makeable putt. But if you miss that quadrant and the ball funnels down to a different part of the green, you're going to have a very difficult 2-putt. And that's why I think it's such a great, because if you hit the shot that you need to, you're going to get rewarded. But if you don't, you're going to have a tough time walking out of there with 3. So I think the green turned out phenomenal. I mean, Jagerkovic shaped, and it's a work of art. As I was saying about 6 earlier, he really did an amazing job. And we've now had it open for, I guess, a little over 3 weeks, and rave reviews from everybody. I mean, really haven't heard anybody say, I miss the old 17th green. I haven't heard that yet. So I think everybody's happy with how that turned out. And 18 is my favorite hole in the golf course. It's definitely a birdie opportunity. There's no question. The green has some funneling to, depending on where the hole location is. It's a shortest par 4, but there is probably actually the only place on the golf course where water comes into play. It is a blind tee shot. There's a pond down on the left. It's about 240-ish from 235 to 240-ish off the tee on the left side. So you can't see it when you're on the tee, but the whole fairway slopes hard right to left. And then, again, if you hit a good tee shot, you are going to be coming in with a shortish iron, and the green is receptive. So it could make for some exciting finishes, which I like. Standing on 18, knowing that, I could have a good chance to make a birdie if I had a good tee shot. I really think that, that could be something that could happen coming down the stretch, which would be great.
I'll tell you, I was just following along on Google Maps there. It felt like I know the course now.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because there really isn't. I was mentioning on 18, there is, on 14, you do tee off over a pond. The hole is called Pond. That's the name of the hole. But, it really doesn't come into play. And then, it's interesting to see, we don't see too many golf courses now where, there really isn't any penalty areas, and we don't have very many. And I really only think the one that really is in play is on 18, it's another neat aspect of the golf course, in my opinion.
Give me a prediction on what the participants need to shoot to make it to match play.
It's funny. We were talking about that the other day. It could be, I don't really know. It depends on where we are that day, because I think this golf course changes so much day to day. If the golf course is firm and fast, let's hope that's the case. That's how I would want to.
I'll be honest with you. I projected the weather out ahead, and you got 3 beautiful 80-degree sunny days.
Yeah. So I if we're firm and fast, I think a couple over, 2 to 3 over, 4 over, somewhere in that window, 72 to 74, maybe. We had 3 years ago, we had a qualifier for the U.S. Women's Open. So it was we had, and a lot of the participants were in town for the tour event going on Upper Montclair. And nobody broke par for the day in the entire field. Wow. Now, I remember the day very well. It was one of those windy, firm, fast days where, the golf course, showed its complete teeth. So if we have one of those days, and the course is firm and fast, anything can happen. If it's receptive, that could go down. It's hard to predict. Again, the golf course changes so much day to day, and it plays so different when it's super firm. The rough is very healthy right now. It's a good probably 3 to 4 inches currently, and I'm sure Nick, our superintendent, will keep it very lush between now and the mid amateur.
What an adjective!
Yeah, there you go.
Healthy,
there you go.
Healthy rough.
Oh, no doubt. It's there's certain spots where you're going to have to, you're going to have to gouge it. That's for sure. There's not too many lies that you get to and go, wow, this isn't that bad. It's thick. It's thick, and the fairways are tight. So you're going to have spots like that for sure.
Well, there you go. Best of luck to everybody that's competing, participating, watching. You're getting nothing but a treat there in Morris County. And Craig, I can't thank you enough for coming on today and kind of giving us the full synopsis of Morris County. And now the only thing left is Ryan and I venturing up to see this healthy rough.
Yeah, no, I'd love to. You guys got to come play. Now I'm going to ask you guys a question. Do you have a favorite in the field, or what's
It's funny you ask, because I actually looked today to see if the starting times were out, and they haven't published them yet because the last qualifier was just the other day.
Yeah, I think yesterday.
Yeah, so
Or-
I actually peeked, but there was no
Tuesday.
names listed yet. So
Okay.
I can't give an answer, but I would love. Listen, I'm a prediction guy, but I will say this.
I'm gonna give you a little insight. Our club champion from last year, Mr. Norman Lewis. He's a past New Jersey senior amateur champion. He won at Springdale. Nobody knows this golf course better than him. I think he's going to be a dark horse in the championship. So he plays this golf course very well, and we're all rooting for him. So we hope the home course advantage takes him all the way through.
There you go. Hometown hero, baby.
Love it.
Yeah. Craig, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Again, I feel without getting to the course, I feel like you did a great job of walking me through it and hopefully gave some people some insights to it. So really appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much.
You got it, guys. Thank you. And I look forward to having you down here to play. Just let me know. We'd love to have you. Thank you.
Definitely taking you up on that. We'll see you soon.
All right. See you guys.